Hey, how's everybody doing out there? So I'm meteorologist Cheetah Craft, and we're going to be looking at some of the storm damage from yesterday afternoon. I'm with the amazing
Jacob Rascon. Do I know my name? Yes, I do.
Yeah, I didn't know. Did you want me to introduce you?
We have been all morning long, and then last night as well, looking at the damage from the ground. But now, for the first time, Air 11 is over the scene. And as you can tell, if you're not looking at your screen, check this out. The damage left behind from what we know, Cheetah, is a tornado, although we don't know how powerful.
That's right. So the things that we do know, so the National Weather Service says we have confirmed one tornado, but the potential today of maybe even up to 3 tornadoes.
Ooh, wow.
So they're going to have to go, and it's a big area. You know, you're talking all the way from Cypress or close to Champions through Klein into Spring. That entire area saw damage. Now, some of that being trees cut in half.
Yeah.
Some of this, you can see trees completely being uprooted, where then it fell on top of a home and maybe some of the shingles of a roof fell. But it's going to take, a team from the National Weather Service to go up to these areas to actually survey the site in person. And what they look for is wind direction. They look at damage. They have to look at the path that it potentially took. Also, you can take, the events from the radar. And so they're coming in with some background as to what we think happened. But like when you see trees like that, almost completely split in half, looking at some of our ratings on the scale. So the EF scale, we're going to hear about this afternoon from the National Weather Service, will be an EF0 to an EF5. And even an EF0 has winds between 65 to 85 mile per hour winds. So you want to think an EF0, okay, that's the lowest ranking it can be, but think that's still winds that are hurricane force or even above.
Right.
Now, I don't know, did we lose video to our viewers or no? Oh, no, it's still good. Okay, good. Okay, but they're going to have to use that. But also, we had reports of 2 impressively large funnel clouds. And sometimes
we saw the video. It was really impressive.
From some of and sometimes what funnel clouds can do is they can almost snap the tree in half, and it can cause damage to, let's say, the top of a home, but let's say it didn't actually touch the ground. So you really have to look from where the damage was, the direction. Was it straight line wind damage? So let's say just like a long straight wind gust of potentially, 65, 75 miles per hour, or was this an actual tornado that tore up, let's say, a tree? And then a lot of the times that's where you see your debris that we had a lot of reports from in Klein.
Yeah.
Now, this particular area in northwest Harris County, it's kind of a broad view. We saw little spots of some damage. So I don't know if this spot necessarily is the long path of maybe one tornado. A lot of times, let's say we've seen images out of Klein this morning where it's like one street that's just completely knocked down. That's the confirmed tornado, where that it did the damage, all across one street.
You can imagine waking up on Thanksgiving week when you're supposed to be with your family, probably going and buying the food, or if you already did, preparing some stuff, and have this happen. All the tarps on the homes, and those are damages in the tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and then the people who lost power yesterday, like you said, people who already went to the grocery store, they're like, I'm going to get a jump start on my holiday. They already pre-bought everything. People who lost power for an extensive amount of time, you have to hope that everything is still good. They didn't lose any food, that their power was restored with enough time. But you're right. I mean, this is a really tough time to have severe damage like this in a really big populated area.
So if you're just joining us, we're getting our first look from the air. Air 11 is looking at the tornado damage and damage from what may be a tornado, because we have one confirmed, potentially others
That's right.
that are going to be confirmed. Today, Kim Castro will be out there with the National Weather Service. They go and they survey, as Cheetah mentioned. They take a look at all of the indicators from the wind direction and the speed and everything to see if there were more than one tornado and how powerful the tornado was. But really, for the people who are on the ground suffering through the damage, it's done. So I'm looking at, like, when you have a tarp that covers your whole roof like that, and the kind of disruption that is, we see that, even if not from tornadoes, often in the area from other storms. Oh, look, they're
Oh,
just walking the dog.
they're going to survey. They're like, we want to survey. We'll do our
wanna
own
survey.
survey before the real survey.
I mean, thankfully, we see, right now we know 100 homes or more were damaged.
Yeah.
It could have been just
So much
many
worse.
hundreds more because of all the trees that you see that almost hit homes, but instead fell in the street or on top of cars.
And you know, when you're saying that, I'm so thankful that we have not heard of any injuries.
Isn't that amazing?
Or even anything worse. And that's why when it comes to tornado activity, we say go into the most interior portion of your home, because if you're looking on your screen and you see the blue tarps kind of lining the house like that, that's why you want to move away from windows, doors, anything that could be used as a launching mechanism that could potentially injure you. And that's why you always want to go into the most interior portion of your home, which is incredible because if a tree landed on that, collapsed the roof, it didn't in that case. But look at that tree. I mean, the tree could have easily gone the other way on that
smashed that truck
garage.
is, too.
Or if somebody would have been in the truck.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully, it looks like, we haven't heard of any injuries. So that's the good news.
You'd think that we would have with 100
I
homes and
know.
who knows how many cars. I don't know if they've counted that, but all these cars that are smashed and trees into garages and into bedrooms.
And a lot of people right now, I mean, some people like us are still working, but a lot of people have off, so they could have been at home.
Right.
So it is amazing that we didn't hear of any more injuries. Now that tree, you see that completely uprooted there?
That wasn't a funnel cloud. That was a tornado on the ground.
That looks significant, or a really strong wind gust, because it is fairly isolated, where you don't see that at long stretch.
I see what you're saying. So either because there are when the helicopter's looking from a certain angle, it does
you go.
look like there's a path or it hopscotches. And
Yeah, and tornadoes can also do that as well. I mean, they can touch down and continue in a long path, and then retouch down again. So, but again, Northwest Harris County really took the brunt of that yesterday. I will say that they're no strangers to severe weather. Severe weather is happening. In fact, I was looking at some of the past tornadic events, and if you just go back to January 8th of 2024, Cypress to Bridgeland.
Oh, that's right.
Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
Cypress to Bridgeland. It was an EF1. Winds were at 100 miles per hour. And a lot. Oh, but look at this. Now, this video, this aerial view
Wow.
really shows how you have this stretch. Now, this is where I say, okay, that could be maybe even an EF1. Like, look at how many homes consecutively have damage all around them. And then look at all the debris that files
Right,
kind
in
of
one
right
spot.
along that. So that could easily be part of a big path that was one tornado, or easily another tornado, at an EF1. But look at the amount of debris all around those homes and in that neighborhood.
And the extent of the damage to the roofs, like this one, nearly entirely covered, and then the other one. And I see what you mean, because you have in a row 6 or 7 homes hit with a lot of force. So that's one of the things that the National Weather Service
And it
looks at.
looks like actually the roof that could have been either the winds or the tornado that disrupted the roof, rather than, let's say, like a tree falling on it. I was also
Right.
looking at okay, what caused this damage? Do we have, consecutive homes with trees down on them? It doesn't look like that. It looks like potentially that tornado was strong enough to either kick off some of those shingles or rip through something that's under those blue tarps, and then create, of course, damage all around those homes as well.
And that would be, you said, an EF0 was up to
65 to 85.
Okay, and that's not. You know what? That doesn't. What's an EF1 then? 85 to 100.
86.
100 or
I know.
something?
I'll get you the exact. It's 86 to 110.
Yeah.
But see, that EF1, sometimes you want to think like, oh, it was just an EF0, it's just an EF1. You're talking about winds at 110 miles per
That are
hour.
doing this.
And that's really, really strong. I mean, that's, oh, look at all the shingles off the roof. Now that to me screams EF1 right there. Do
Yeah.
you see how kind of widespread the damage is? And then it goes from home to home. Look
Yeah.
at how so
Yep.
much debris is all across these neighborhoods.
All the glass is gone.
All the glass is gone. I mean, that could even be EF1 to EF2. And this is over
This is a new neighborhood.
new neighborhood.
Bellwood Park Lane, Cypress area, all still northwest Harris County area, or maybe even up closer near Spring. But yeah, all of the worst of the damage reports on the map you're shown this morning were all qualify as northwest Harris County, near Montgomery County.
Oh yeah, and especially if you're familiar with Klein.
Yeah.
Klein really took a really hard hit yesterday, and all the surrounding areas over there, which is incorporated in Spring.
Yeah.
But I mean, Klein specifically, all around that neighborhood, that's where we saw the most storm reports from the National Weather Service. And I was just going to zoom in, kind of give a little perspective of, all around that area. Spring Cypress Road, that leads maybe closer into TC Jester.
That stop sign is bent nearly in half too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the winds would have to be really strong to do some of this damage. So also what comes to mind as far as recent storms that we talked about a lot.
Yep.
The derecho.
Of course.
Now, are we thinking that it's possible that any straight line winds are to blame for any of this, or
well, the derecho is how long the consecutive path of straight line winds are. So we're not going to have a derecho on our hands, but the straight line wind part, yeah, very well. I mean, we could easily have that. I mean, even a funnel cloud that, let's say, cuts a tree in half, and then that tree falls and it knocks off some shingles on a home, that's a lot of damage for somebody. But easily, with let's say one tornado, it's just how long that path was. But that it could all be connected, or these could be two completely separate tornadoes that we'll get these surveys from.
So fair to say, this is really rare. We can say that. So we've had only a couple in the Houston area in the past couple of years that we found that we can remember. So you don't think, even when you see the warning, or maybe not the warning, but like the forecast in the morning, there was, how do we describe it again? What was the warning?
We were under a slight risk of severe weather, and that did include Harris County. It did include Montgomery and Waller County, so all areas that were under that.
And we said the potential for tornadoes yesterday morning.
Right, and it was a level 2, and that is why the KHOU weather team issued the weather impact alert to just create awareness. But it is those kind of days when you get that tornado warning on your phone. A warning means to take action, and that's why it's so important that you do. Ooh. Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
Oh, no.
We zoomed in on maybe one of the worst
The video speaks for itself. You're exactly right. That's what it makes you do.
So you have that cluster of homes on the one block, and then here you have 1, 2, 3, 4 other homes that were also hit. Okay, if you're joining us just in the past couple minutes, we have more than 100 homes that are damaged. For the first time, we're seeing it from the air. Air 11 is showing us what we've been looking at from the ground all morning and last night. 100 homes damaged, 1 confirmed tornado, the potential for additional confirmations. The National Weather Service will survey that today. Nobody injured.
No, which is incredible with the amount of damage that we have seen.
Yeah. And then cars that, as far as we know, haven't been counted, but we in this video have seen 4, 5, 6 cars that were crushed. Either nobody in them, or they got out, or just barely missed it. It really is amazing.
It is. In
this damage, that nobody was injured.
So I will say, though, looking kind of at past events, so I don't want to say regularly, but I would say probably once a year.
Once a year.
We can have, especially in this area, northwest Harris County, tornado rankings of EF0 to EF1. But EF2 is rare. And really the last time in this specific area was in 2012. So January of 2012, near Spring, Tomball, that northwest portion there is the last time we had an EF2. just for this specific area. So EF0 to EF1, but even when we're looking at some of this damage, you know, sometimes aerial views, it's tough to say, okay, is this an EF1? Is this an EF2? But I think it's going to be close.
Yeah.
This is a lot of damage. You already see people working hard there, trying to get cleanup efforts underway. That was really remarkable to see how quickly, you know, the community kind of.
Oh man, yeah, we did the
started to
story this
dive in.
morning about, you know, they call the fire department, but by the time the fire department gets there, you have a dozen or more of the
People.
neighbors with their chainsaws out there helping out. And so by the time Jalissa was there this morning, all the trees are cut up, or I don't know about all the trees, but a lot of them are there lined up, ready to be carried off. I mean, families are off work, a lot of them. The kids are off school. They've got family in town. It's, you know, the last thing that you want to do. But the neighbors that we talked to this morning, they were, you know, encouraged as well. They said, oh, you should have seen everybody come out and help out. Now, of course, you also have the other side of everything else that we're seeing. Really, really very sad to see this on Thanksgiving.
I know, and you know, when you see debris like this, you know, and you're talking about like moving limbs or trees, and that's great for everybody to come together, but if you see power lines or you see something that could, you know, injure yourself or maybe your family, just keep in mind it's not the time to do that. That's when you actually want to wait for the officials. You can wait for emergency, but really just, you know, your local energy companies to come over and move those and kind of get them everything restored. And our last check this morning, most power had been restored. We still had some people, we still had a few people without, but it was a lot better than yesterday.
Yeah, right now about 2,500 customers are without power. Yesterday, at the height of it, I think 27,000 customers were without power. So it got a lot better. But I mean, by the time we were on the air, I think it was under 1,000.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, under 27,000, but hopefully everybody can be. I mean, but when you're looking at sometimes this kind of damage, I mean, it takes time. So I know it's always hard if you're one of those, you know, 1,000 or 2,000, but just give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I'll say today is the day, though. At least they have, you know, good weather today and tomorrow, and hopefully by Thanksgiving, most of this can at least be cleaned up a little bit. Look at that.
Oh, are those panels on top of that roof? Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, it felt so bad for this guy. This morning, he said, we just put the roof on 2 days ago to replace it. And he was sitting there next to the house, but also the car that had been crushed. And so today, we're going to get more of those stories of people who no doubt will talk about barely surviving, you know, just missing, or the kind of, you know, cleanup and recovery that they're going to be doing today, and no doubt, hopefully in time for Thanksgiving.
Well, and that's why, you know, anytime you are under a tornado watch and you see that, you have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind, that this is a possibility. Now, a watch means it's a possibility. When you get that warning on your phone, and everybody gets that alert to their phone, that is when you have to take shelter. I mean, just look at what the possibilities are. I mean, you see all the damage in, you know, the backyard. Just think if that were inside your home. You know, if those windows that are out, thankfully nobody was standing by those windows. But that's just the kind of action you have to take. You know, even if you kind of want to blow it off like, you know, I'm sure it's not going to be here. You just don't know.
So we'll wrap this up here in just a minute or two. If you're joining us now, you're looking at the first images from overhead, Air 11, showing us what it looks like after a tornado touched down, and potentially more than one, in the northwest Harris County area, damaging 100 plus homes, crushing cars, knocking down countless trees. We couldn't count those. And this on Thanksgiving week, with the bright spot that no injuries have been reported.
And the National Weather Service will be out this afternoon. Meteorologist Kim Castro will be with the National Weather Service. You know, there is so much that goes into surveying the site to get all the information to say the category of a tornado, how many, and we're going to see that process, and we are going to pass that process right on to you. So that way you can kind of see a glimpse of what the National Weather Service does. And of course, as we gather all that information, you're going to see it live at 4, 5, 6 o'clock this afternoon and evening.
All right, with Cheetah Craft and the rest of the KHU11 team, I'm Jacob Rascon. Thank you for watching. And you can find us, of course, at noon, 4, 5, 6, and 10, and we'll be here tomorrow morning.